Good morning, Internet. This is the old fat dad. Welcome back to another beautiful day on the Goober Nation gun range. It is boiling hot out here today, but it's not as hot as these 22 LR rounds we're going to be shooting. So let's go to the table and we'll check those guys out. And here are the three different rounds we're going to be shooting today. We've got the CCI Stinger, Aguila Supermaximum hollow point, and CCI Velocitor. Now, all of these rounds are going really fast and hitting really hard for a 22. I'll put the statistics down about what the manufacturer claims in the description if you're interested in those numbers. But I have tested these out of a pistol in the past couple of videos, and they have all been very impressive. The reason why I chose these three in particular is that the CCI Stinger, the long reigning champion of everything hypervelocity in 22s, I think might have been dethroned to some extent by both of these two rounds. But that was with a pistol. So today, per your requests, we've brought out the 10-22 with an 18-inch barrel. We're going to fire these rounds out of a rifle, and we'll see if CCI can reclaim its throne over the two contenders. Now, the targets are going to be dog food, aka small game simulator, ballistic modeling clay, and then finally we'll do a 2 liter of pop. In this case, we've got Diet Sprite. Finally, because we got the rifle out, I will include a quick little accuracy test at the end for you guys who are curious to see if there's any difference in accuracy between these three. Now, let's get started shooting. We're going to start off with the contender. I've got the Aguila Supermaximum loaded up. Got 3 cans of dog food downrange. We're going to test for penetration as well as general explosiveness on target. Let's see how the Aguila Supermaximum does. Oh man! Well, it sent it back all the way here, so I think we did pretty good. Alright, the Aguila Supermaximum put on quite the show. First can totally ripped open. This is the entrance. Coming out the back, doing a lot of damage. We've got lids flying off. Life is looking pretty good. Second can, also decent entry and exit there, and I'm loving that the top of the can has got a big old lump in it, which means this was still dumping a lot of energy into can number 2. And then finally, ooh, we're dribbling a little bit. Can number 3 has got an entrance. Just a 22 sized and no exit, but there is a little bit of a dimple on the back right there. Hopefully I can get my head out of here. You can see it right there. So it tried to come out of the third can, but it didn't quite make it. I think that's pretty impressive results. My dog food's hitting my tripod. Let's move on. We're going to try the Velocitor next. Okay, we got 1 round of Velocitor loaded up. We got 3 cans of dog food downrange, and somebody please remind me to put on my safety glasses before I fire every time, because this stuff is going everywhere. Let's see how contender number 2 performs. Oh, yep, that was pretty good as well. Let's go check out the slow-mo. Alright, the Velocitor also did quite a number on our first can. Here's our entry. Again, ripped top to bottom. And a nice sized exit out the back. For our first can, we got the lid separated from the top. Quite a spectacular amount of damage. Maybe a smidge better than the Super Maximum. On our second can here, we got a very sizable entrance here. I had to kind of clean it up a little bit. Again, maybe just slightly bigger than the Super Maximum, and a good sized exit out the back. And finally, for the third one, very similar results to that Super Maximum, although I would say that this is bigger than just a 22 sized hole in. and we actually got a very significant lump on the backside as well, but it did not make it through. I'll do a little review, but I think the Super Maximum has been bested. Can the Stinger top both these guys? Let's find out. Once the undisputed champion of 22LR hyper velocity ammo, now there's some new players to the game, but can the Stinger hold them off? Let's find out. Safety glasses. Ooh, wow, wow. Okay, the Stinger sent him flying. Let's see what kind of damage we did. Okay, let's review that Stinger dog food damage. Here's our Stinger entrance. Here's our Stinger exit. And it's kind of neat to see that it was definitely fragmenting and pushing bits of fragment through the backside, though. We got one main bit that came through. So first can and second can. Got to be careful, don't nick my fingers here. Okay, we got an entrance. Nice size entrance. And kind of a small exit. And finally we were going in our third can and no exit. We just got another little, it's a super tiny little dimple. I bet you can even maybe barely see it right there at the top. So that's the dog food. That's our small game simulator. I think I'm going to do a quick review. We'll take a look at the first can of each of them, and then let's figure out who is the winner of the small game simulator. Alright, I'm going to see if I can get these all into frame at the same time without cutting my fingers. Oh man. Okay, here we go. Aguila Supermaximum, CCI Velocitor, CCI Stinger. And I think I made a little bit of a boo-boo when I said that the Velocitor had more damage than the Super Maximum. In fact, I'm pretty sure this Super Maximum took the cake here. This is a ton of damage. I can't believe I forgot how much damage it did. Lifted the lid all the way off. Big rip in the back. I mean, this thing is opened way up. The Velocitor isn't any slouch, but I think this is third place because the Stinger definitely did a good bit of damage, but just not quite to Super Maximum levels. So, I think I'm happy to say that Super Maximum is putting a hurting on Stinger, and it definitely came out #1 in the dog food test. Alright, now we're set up with the pop bottles downrange, and I've got Aguila Supermaximum to start once again. Let's see what kind of damage we do. Safety glasses. Oh, wow. Wow, you could really hit that. Speechless a little bit. I could hear the hit that thumped super hard. I'm excited to see what it did. Alright, here is the Sprite that got hit with the Super Maximum. Might be a little hard to see, but here is, where's our entrance? There's our nice little 22 sized hole on the front side, and just totally ripped it top to bottom. Came out the back with another 22 sized hole. This 2 liter looks like it got shrunken. I guess it hit it so hard it totally deformed the whole bottle. So very impressive results. Unfortunately, my slow-mo camera overheated. So I'm gonna probably take a shot at another bottle of ginger ale I've got. So if you see a slow-mo shot that's different than Sprite, it's just me reshooting it with the ginger ale. Okay, enough explaining. Let's move on to the Velocitor. Up next, CCI Velocitor versus Sprite pop bottle. Ooh, man, that just sounds mean. Let's check it out. Alright, so the Velocitor did a respectable amount of damage. Again, just opened up the front in the entrance. The entry, the actual hole is kind of right there in the middle of that split, hard to see. And then a very sizable exit as well. And it sent this pop bottle flying really far back, which is interesting. I don't think the total damage to the bottle is quite up to what the Supermaximum did, but it is very impressive. Let's see if the CCI Stinger can top everybody in this test. All right, CCI Stinger, pop bottle. Let's see what happens. Okay, not too bad. Let's check out the slow-mo. CCI Stinger on the pop bottle. Here is our entrance. Boy, it's hard to see these things, isn't it? Right there, we got a little 22 sized entrance on the side of that rip. Big old rip out the front. And we got a tiny little hole out the back. Let's take a look at all three. Alright, let's see if I can get these all in frame here. We've got the Aguila Supermaximum and Velocitor in the middle. And finally, the Stinger at the end there. And as far as deformation, actual damage to the bottles, you know what? They're all really similar, and I think I'm going to go with the Velocitor as the winner on this one, and it's because of the exit. So the Supermaximum just had a tiny little exit right there, and same thing with our Stinger, just a tiny little exit. Oops, show up there. Yeah, these translucent bottles. There you go, tiny little exit right there. But our Velocitor has a big old hole out the back. Very nice damage there. So I'm gonna give this one to the Velocitor. We'll give a tie to our Stinger and Supermaximum. Next up, we've got the clay downrange. Something to keep in mind, it is very hot today. The clay is gonna be a little bit more smushy, a little bit more liquidy than when we're shooting in the winter or fall or spring. So the results are going to be more impressive today than they normally would in cooler weather. Now, with that in mind, let's shoot our Supermaximum and see what kind of damage we do on the ballistic modeling clay. Wow. Very nice sized hole. Let's check it out. Alright, here is the Supermaximum, and here's the damage we did to that clay, and something that is really neat. Can you see those specks in there? All the way around? That is the bullet. It looks like it completely blew up in the clay, and there is barely even a hole out the back. This is 100% spent energy inside that block of clay. Very sizable hole, good amount of damage. See, compared to my big old fat head, yeah, it's pretty nasty. Let's see what our Velocitor does next. One round of the CCI Velocitor loaded up here, and we're doing clay now. But you know what? Let's pause here a second before I shoot that clay with the Velocitor. Everybody who's watching right now, if you're having a good time, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, tapping that like button, and if you really enjoyed the content, you want to help out, there's a little heart with a $sign in it. Hit that to give me a little bit of money to help these videos keep on going. I want to say thank you to everybody who has contributed by super thanks so far. I really appreciate it. I went out and I got something with that money. I'm really excited for a future test with something from the Ballistic Dummy Lab. So that's coming up. Thank you again for watching. Well, let's get back to it. Now the begging's over. CCI Velocitor clay block. Very nice sized hole. Let's check it out. Velocitor clay block. All right, this is pretty cool. Right away, a really big difference. So here is the entrance on the Velocitor, and as opposed to our Super Maximum, there are no bullet fragments in there. And can I see through here? Whoop! Take a look at that exit. That is humongous. So not quite as big of an entrance, but this exit is pretty darn impressive. All right, let's see how the Stinger does. We've got our old champion of 22LR, the Stinger, loaded up. Time to take a crack at our ballistic modeling clay. And the Stinger definitely put a hurting on that clay. Let's see how much. Alright, so our Stinger had a very respectable size entrance and a decent exit. Let's put all three up here next to each other and we'll compare the results. Here are the three clay blocks. We'll start with the Stinger over here. Nice size entrance. Did a weird thing where it really peeled back where it went in. Decent sized exit out the back. Take a look at Velocitor next. Not quite as big of an entrance, but the hole out the back is a monster. And then finally, our Aguila Supermaximum. I think it's the biggest entrance, real close to the Stinger, but it's pretty darn big. That little speck of light there is all that went through, if anything went through. This one dumped a ton of fragments, dumped a ton of energy in the block, and didn't leave anything on the table. These guys both punched through, but I kind of want to say the Velocitor won this one. I just love that huge exit, and it definitely did a lot of damage up front. It's going to have to be one of those things where you guys are going to have to tell me what you think on this one. Each one definitely has different merits, so in my mind, Velocitor, but you tell me what you think. As promised, here are the results of our accuracy test. Now, I didn't film myself shooting it because I imagine that it's as boring to watch as it is to edit and film. So instead, we're just going to go straight to the results. Now, let's start out with the worst one here. Aguila, the Super Maximum. Over here, hopefully you can see that pretty good. We have an 1¼ inch group, which is not terrible. Not really what we're looking for like real good hunting ammo, but it's in the ballpark. And next up is going to be Stinger in second place, a solid 1-inch group right here. So that is also very decent, but the ammo that ran away with it in the accuracy test has got to be the Velocitor. There are 4 shots right here in about a 1/4 inch group there, and one little guy got away from me and went down to the right, but even with that 0.75 inch group, super close to that golden standard of 1/2 inch group that I like to see with target ammo. Velocitor is doing it in hyper velocity, which is pretty darn rare. Now, I kind of think of this test almost like a tiebreaker, because in our ballistic testing, the results were pretty similar. I think Velocitor might have had the edge too in the ballistic testing, but this really solidifies it, at least in my opinion, that our overall winner today is going to be the Velocitor. I think the Stinger has been dethroned. Not only has it been dethroned, but I also would say that Aguila was hanging with the Stinger throughout the whole test as well. And I don't want to say the Stinger was in last place, but you know, there isn't much difference between these, and in some cases the Aguila, I think, is beating the Stinger handily. Handgun size and rifle size. But overall, in the handguns and in the rifles, I think Velocitor might be our new hypervelocity champion. Let me know down in the comments what you think. As always, thanks for watching, and